So finding yourself with your feet comfortably underneath your hips. And just taking a moment to stand, closing your eyes, and noticing the distribution of weight between one foot and the other, between the left side of your body and the right side of your body, between the front of your body, your front plane, and the back of your body. How are you standing right now? In this moment, how is your body arranged? Do things feel even, stacked? Or are you tuning into little imbalances? Perhaps one shoulder feels higher than the other, or one hip. Or perhaps things feel twisted, spiraled in the body. Just giving yourself a nice, thorough body scan, noticing what you notice. We're going to come back to this at the end of this session, and we'll see what feels different. So whenever you're ready, opening your eyes and begin to bring your awareness to your feet. You're going to slowly roll your feet to the inside, slowly roll them to the outside, roll them to the inside, roll them to the outside. Notice how that affects your hips, your thigh bone, what's happening in the rest of your body as you do that. Good. Then let that go. And then go ahead and lift up all 10 toes, spread them really wide, place them back down. Again, lift up all 10 toes, spread them wide, place them back down. One more time, lifting them up, placing them down. Good. And then just go ahead and bend the knees a little, and straightening, and bend the knees, and straightening. So I didn't mention this already, but make sure your feet are more or less parallel, more or less underneath your hips. Though we don't want them too wide or too narrow, but somewhere right in the middle. Good, so you can stand comfortably. Good, and then just keeping the knees ever so slightly bent. You're just going to sway a little side to side, just shifting the weight. And noticing what happens again in the rest of your body as you simply shift the weight side to side. Nice. And then begin to slowly take that weight shift into a circle. So your core is relatively engaged here, and you want your torso to remain pretty rigid, straight. You can imagine you're a tree swaying in the wind. Just giving yourself a little tree dance. Effortlessly circling, while simultaneously just feeling what's happening in the articulation of your feet. Great. Good. Go ahead and let that settle. And again, bend the knees. A little bounce. And release. And one more time, bend the knees. And release. Sorry, I have a little something in my throat this morning. So then moving into the breath, it might feel nice to place one hand on the belly. Then as you inhale, imagine the breath rushing down, filling up the bottom of the pelvis, all the way down into the pelvic floor. So as you inhale, try to spread and widen the pelvic floor, spreading into the belly, spreading into the lower ribs, and then moving into the upper ribs, up into the clavicle. And then as you exhale, let everything contract. Squeeze that air out. It can be out through your mouth or out through your nose, whatever feels better. And just take a few more breaths like that. Really deep, really wide, really three-dimensional. And this last breath, just notice what happens to your stance. What happens to your posture as you breathe that deep. Good. And then let that go. Begin to circle into the shoulder. So just let it be juicy. Let it be easy. Squeezing the shoulders up, rolling them down. Good. And as you can see, I'm adding a little bend in my knees as I drop the shoulders down. That might feel good in your body today. Try that on if you wish. And then go ahead and circle the shoulders the other direction. And when you come forward, really letting the heart melt. So you're letting it cave. And perhaps the head starts to come into play with this movement as you release the upper thoracic spine. Just see what feels good. And then one more time, reverse the direction and really add the head and chin into this. Just let it ripple up through the heart, up through the neck, opening the face. Good. Then letting that go. Then as you inhale, again, breathing really deep, bringing in all that air. As you inhale, you're going to sweep your arms up like you're gathering in energy, prana, chi from around you, bringing it up to the top. As you exhale, bringing your hands together, drawing all of that energy in front of the heart space. Taking a moment to pause here, feeling into the feet and the hands. Good. And again, as you inhale, dropping the hand, inviting all of this juicy energy to come into your midline and pulling it down as you exhale. Centering, listening, feeling the bottom of your feet. One more time. Inhale. Really energetic, really wide, reaching up, and pull it down. Feeling the heart, feeling your pelvis, feeling your feet. Good, let that go, and moving into the neck, allowing the neck to start to circle. And perhaps the shoulders come into play with this. Just find what feels good in your body today. That might be different an hour from now, might be different tomorrow. This is a practice of tuning in and listening to what your body needs, how it needs it in this moment, honoring that. Good. So finishing up those neck circles, and then begin to just place one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, and again, just listening. And I want you to tune back into your feet, letting your feet widen, get really heavy. And just take a few more deep breaths. Inhaling, stretching the belly. Exhaling, softening. Inhaling, stretching the belly. Exhaling, softening, settling into the feet a little more. Allowing yourself to get really rooted, really grounded. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Letting that go. Good. Now you can start to step your feet a little wider if that feels good, and start to come into some hip circles. So letting the arms stay heavy, loose, even, and play with it. Switch directions whenever you wish. And particularly, I keep bringing your awareness to your feet, just how your feet really influence the rest of the movement in your body. So just notice, I don't know if you can see on this video, but my feet actually move around quite a bit. But maybe your feet are a bit more rigid. Just notice what happens. And if your feet are a bit more rigid, just see if you can start to circle the ankles, the toes, and all of the foot bones as you move your hips. And just see how that changes the quality of movement for you. Good. and then letting that go. Now moving the circles into the knees. Now, for most people, you're going to naturally get more ankle movement when you purposely circle the knees around. So just do a few circles, one direction, switch direction, play with it. Good. And then letting those circles move into the arms, the shoulder, and even the elbow. Now, as you can see for me, I'm just letting those circles move through my torso, my spine, my knees, my feet. Everything is soft and easy. And then eventually letting that whole arm straighten out. Greet the space. One more breath, and then slowly switching directions, switching sides. Good, so perhaps it starts in the shoulder, and then eventually moves into shoulder elbow, and then playing with how your head and neck respond, how your belly and torso respond, and then eventually that arm will straighten out. The knees stay bent, relaxed, the feet easy. Then eventually letting that go, and just letting all of the joints in your body start to circle. It may not look anything like what I'm doing, but the idea is to find continuous circles that move from one joint to the other. It's like your body is a snake, or it's in water, or something like that. So it feels relatively easy to pass information from one area up into another area, maybe into standing, and you circle one knee and one foot, the other, getting into the ankles, the head, the face. Just finding movement in the joints, quick, moving from one place to the other, circling, circling, circling. And just notice what parts of the body feel really hard to access or feel hard to circle. Just one more breath here. And then slowly coming back to standing, to that original standing posture. And just like that, we're bringing this practice to a close. So scanning, noticing, okay, where's the weight in my feet now? I feel more weight in my heels than I did before. Do things feel more aligned, less aligned? What's going on in your heart? The heartbeat, the breath, the tension, your mental outlook, your emotions. Good. And once you have a thorough picture of what you feel like now, you can officially bring this practice to a close. Thank you so much for joining.